It's 2012. You've got to check up with the orthodontist. Although the appointment's only 1 hour, your mum allows you to take the whole day off. So, once you come home, with your mouth feeling like it's in a saw trap, you boot up your 360, you sit on the edge of your bed with your Toy Story 2 bed covers, and you play your favourite game, SSX. Hey, just a quick reminder that if you're not subscribed already, you can do so by clicking the big red button below, and if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to leave it a like. Thank you. SSX as a franchise started in 2000, with the first entry of the game titled SSX. Side note, I know 2 of these titles are both called SSX. It's weird, so I'm going to refer to them by their years so that it's easier for you and me. SSX 2000 released on the PlayStation 2 to critical success. People loved it. It was a masterpiece. It was fun, unique, and it set the path for the sequel the very next year, SSX Tricky, which was also a success. EA were hitting home runs with these games, and people were loving it. After the initial success, EA went on to make SSX 3, which did great. Then they made SSX on Tour, which did well too, and then they made SSX Blur, which still has a 8.0 user score average on Metacritic, but seems to be the weakest in the franchise up to that point. Because after SSX Blur, they didn't make a new addition to the franchise for another 5 years, which brings us up to SSX 2012, and me again, with braces. The new SSX 2012 was the edgy and cool SSX, which tried to take the fun and funky formula of the older games and give it a next-gen upgrade, where it used
NASA imaging technology,
what we call Google Maps, to use real-life mountains as the basis for most of their levels. The game didn't want to be about a fun downhill snowboard race with scores and tricks. Now it was life or death, victory or defeat. It was nerf or nothing. At the time of its release, it received good reviews from most places, with a Metacritic's critic review of 82, which is good and in line with the franchise. But the user score... Oof! Can we get some Fs in the chat for our fallen homie here? People hated it. It wasn't what they had before, and after a 5-year wait, people were excited to go back to the fun and funky times of SSX prior. But no, instead of getting Superman and the Mole Men, 1951, they got Man of Steel. So, a quick recap for the franchise as a whole. People loved it at the start, but it started fading. So after a 5-year hiatus, the franchise was rebooted in a cool and dangerous new image. And people weren't very happy with it for the most part. Get it? Got it? Good. Moving on. But for little Tommy Boy, in 2012, he didn't know about all the stuff we just learned. He didn't even know there was other SSX games. He had a group of friends that were buying it, and he was like, okay, I guess I'll buy it too. So he did, with 0 expectations of the game. This is the point of the video where things like Metacritic scores, online reviews, and any sense of being objective go right out the window. Everything from this point on is my opinion, and my opinion alone. If we're all fine with that, I'll continue. I love this game so much. My favourite game for a significant part of my life was SSX 2012. It was one of those few games that I could play all day, every day, and never get bored of it. I find the levels fun, the game mechanics exciting, and the music bombed. I can't play any of it here because of copyright, but I suggest you check out the soundtrack if you can. I'm not really much of a music person. In fact, one of the few artists I've actually seen live in concert were Churches, and you can guess where little Tommy Boy found out about their music. Bam! Right in the soundtrack of this game. The memories of playing this game as a teen bring me such joy. The fun times of playing on those slopes and completing death-defying runs down realistic mountains was a blast. But in those happy flowery memories there is a dark, thorny rose, a rivalry that fueled my gaming hours more than my love of the game did. I didn't just want to play this game, I wanted to destroy my friend. A little context here. The game has different characters you can choose from throughout the game, with each of them having special perks or score modifiers to make them all unique. This means if a specific level has a hazard like big gaps or brr, it's too cold, you can use the character that best suits that level. But my friend had a different plan. He thought it would be better if each of us in the friend group would pick a character and then that was your character, meaning nobody else could play them outside of the story mode. This is a fun enough idea until he picked Mac. If I remember things right, my friend was the first one to get the game, so he had first pick, so he just decided to pick the best character in the game. And then was like, nope, no one else can play as him. So I was like, bit harsh, but okay. I'm gonna pick Moby. Again, a little context. Moby's special trait was that he was thick. And by thick, I mean nice and warm under all those layers. So he could survive longer in maps in colder regions like Antarctica. But other than that, he was just a big, clunky man that wasn't much good to play. It was like my friend had picked a Formula 1 racing car, and I picked the car from the Flintstones. This might sound like I was making it harder for myself, which I was, but the feeling you get is so much better when you beat one of his high scores. I played this game for hours with the worst character, trying to beat the scores of my friend with the best, and I would have massive celebrations when I saw that wee Moby face be higher in the friends leaderboard than Mac, before eventually updating it and seeing my score had been beaten by my friend on the first try because he had a supercar and I was using my feet to doodle. You get the idea. Do you want to know how good I got at this game? I haven't played it for years, but when trying to get footage for this video, I found that my Xbox controller doesn't have a left stick. I couldn't voluntarily steer my character in the game, but somehow I managed to load in one of the trick levels and I beat the AI. First try! I'm a god. Simple as, I'm a god of this game. But to conclude, the emotions this game made me feel, the highest highs, the bouts of defeat, and the feeling of getting better each time I played, that is why this is my favourite game. And I'm sure other games have better styles and more interesting graphics and open worlds, but you can't manufacture the feeling you get from beating your rival, beating your friend as the worst pick in the game.